first time a leftist candidate wins the country's presidency. Let's go live with our correspondent Natalia Margarita to see how Colombians celebrate the historical moments. Natalia, hello.
Hi, Luis Alberto.
Hi.
Well, yeah, since yesterday, lots of people, crowds, took to the streets here in Colombia's capital, Bogota, to celebrate these historic results of the presidential election. As you said before, this is the first time in Colombia's Republican history that a left-leaning candidate wins the presidency. Until very late in the night, we could see people in the street celebrating and commemorating also those that are not right now here because they were murdered by paramilitary groups or by the state forces just for the fact of being left-wing leaders. But throughout the day today, we have get to know also these celebrations are taking place in the small municipalities and small towns of the rural areas of Colombia, those rural areas that have been historically abandoned by the state, but also those rural areas that have been most affected by Colombia's internal armed conflict. And in terms of this, I would like to give you some important and concerning numbers. During the presidency of the current president, Iván Duque, 930 social leaders and human rights defenders have been murdered here in Colombia. 245 former members of the FARC guerrilla that signed the peace agreement back in 2016 have been murdered too. And also 262 massacres have been taking place here in Colombia during the last presidency. So these concerning numbers and this concerning situation have been taking place in those rural areas that, as I said before, have been the most affected by the armed conflict. So right now, those rural areas are celebrating because we need to remember that one of the main proposals of Gustavo Petro's government program is the full implementation of that peace agreement that was signed by the Colombian state and the former FARC guerrilla back in 2016. That peace agreement that the current government of Iván Duque failed to implement, failed to commit to. And in terms of this, in terms of constructing peace in Colombia, it's also very important to mention that today, just a few hours ago, the other guerrilla that we have here in Colombia, the guerrilla of the National Liberation Army, ELN, issued an official statement saying that after getting to know this new government that got elected yesterday, they are willing to resume the peace talks, the peace negotiations that were taking place there in Havana, Cuba, and that were suspended by the current president of Colombia, Iván Duque, back in 2019. So those peace dialogues were suspended, and now the ELN is saying that under the new government that will officially start here in Colombia the 7th of August, they are willing to resume those peace negotiations. And basically this situation is, and this hope is what is making people here in Colombia, not just in the main cities like Bogota, but also in those small towns, taking people out to the streets to celebrate. In one word, I will resume Colombia's mood right now as a mood of hope. This is what you can see in the faces of Colombians right now, Luis.
Thanks, Natalia, for your input here from the South. We are taking a short break now.